Today's video was sponsored by the Deck of Many's new Heckna Kickstarter. Alright, so this is by far one of the most insane videos I've ever created on this channel thus far. You read the title, you know what we're trying to do today, and if you're a normal person like how I used to be before beginning this conspiracy theory, you probably have no idea on how the heck we're even going to accomplish this. The act of going back in time both in D&D and in the real world is harder, more complex, and more impossible to achieve than you might think. Going forwards in time? Yeah, sure, I mean, science has already proven that it's possible, but going back? That's a completely different ballgame that you can best be assured won't be figured out before all of our long-awaited deaths. So what does that mean for us? Well, it means if we're going to pull this off, we need to let fantasy take over. And no, I don't mean by using homebrew or making stuff up, we're talking completely by the books from D&D 5th edition. Hopefully if this works, then it should be completely legal for you to bring into any D&D campaign. So I'm sure you're all curious on why I decided to figure all of this out in the first place. No? Well, I'm saying it anyway. There's an anime called ReZero that stars a protagonist named Natsuki Subaru. The gimmick of the show is that young Subaru is able to go back in time whenever he dies. Usually it takes him far enough into the past where he can try to at least prevent himself from getting killed again. It's a really great dark story which I'd recommend watching for anyone who's interested, but we're here to figure out time travel in D&D, so I'll stop fanboying for now. So how the heck are we gonna do this? From the looks of things, no official content in D&D can allow us to go forwards or back in time. Well, outside of the wish spell, but unless I specifically mention it's banned in the video, someone's gonna bring it up, so yeah, we're not using it. And along with that, the concept of traveling forwards in time is possible in the real world, but way too difficult for us real humans to achieve right now. So that's where fantasy magic and the breaking of physics comes in. To begin, let's take a look at how time travel is even possible. So you know how the Earth has a gravitational force that pulls everything towards it? Well, these G-forces are also responsible for the concept of time. Gosh, I sound like a huge nerd right now. Large objects that are moving faster possess more of these G-forces. So that pretty much means if we're standing on a large enough, dense enough, and fast enough moving object, we can slow down time around us and speed it up everywhere else. Or in this case, time travel. But what's the densest object in the known universe? Well, that'd be a black hole, but just because I think standing next to one would be an instant death sentence, we'll substitute that madness for a neutron star instead. Now, a neutron star is basically the core of a supergiant star that collapsed in on itself. Because of this, the star is super dense and incredibly hot. I did the math, and for every day that you spend on the surface of the neutron star, you can expect the rest of reality to speed up by 30%. It's slow, but at least the plan works, so I'll give it that. Well, now we have our fast-moving, dense ball of fire, so all we need to do now is get onto it, sit on it, and wait a while for time travel. No, it's not that easy. It's never that easy. So sit back down and let me explain the rest. First off, how do you plan to get to the star?
I don't know. Magic?
No, you need to... Wait, yeah, that's exactly how. Alright, so first off, you can use the teleport spell and warp to the densest star in the sky. It might be a bumpy trip with a description that vague, but otherwise you should get there in the end. Next up, make sure your character is a Warforged. They're robots, so you don't need to worry about your lungs bursting or blood boiling. To my knowledge of space, you should be fine. Well, now we can survive the harsh atmosphere of space. So when we eventually do get to the star, how do we stop ourselves from being immediately obliterated by the surface? The temperature of a neutron star's surface is equal to the heat of 172 suns. No exaggeration. So, from the sounds of that, looks like we need some form of advanced sunscreen. Luckily enough, there's an item that exists in D&D which, for some reason, is perfect for camping on a star. The Afridi chain is a legendary item that gives us fire immunity, and lets us walk on top of molten rock. Literally perfect for the mission at hand. Alright, cool. So now we need a way to survive the G-forces. To put it in perspective, the amount of force being applied to our body while on this star is gonna be 100 billion times stronger than on Earth. So if we're not prepared, then the second we land on the star, our body's gonna flatten like a pancake. The solution? Boots of levitation. Now we can endlessly float a few feet off the surface of the star, never technically touching it, therefore never getting squashed. To my knowledge, levitating can make you immune to the crushing force of gravity. So because of that, you shouldn't have to worry about instantly exploding. Now we can finally teleport to the neutron star. If we did everything right, then we'll be immune to the effects of space, the temperature, and gravity. So now what? Well, now we want to camp out on the star for a few days. For every day that passes here, we'll go around 7.5 hours into the future. But Blaine, you said we were going back in time, not forwards! This was clickbait! Well, give me a minute, because in this painfully elaborate video, in order to go back in time, we need to go forwards in time. It'll make more sense in a second. Now, there's an item in D&D that's crucial for everything we've done up until now to work. The deck of many things. And no, this is not a sponsorship segment, it's an actual item in the game. One of the cards we can draw from the deck is called the Fates. Yeah, I see all of you D&D veterans over there smirking because you already know what this card does. Just give me a second, I have to explain it to the newbies. Reality's fabric unravels and spins anew, allowing you to avoid or erase one event as if it never happened. You can use the card's magic as soon as you draw the card, or at any other time before you die. See where I'm getting at with this? No? Alright, fine, so listen, and do everything I'm about to say in this exact order. First, we need the teleport spell, the magical chain, the magical boot, and the magical being born a robot. Second, draw from the deck of many things and get the Fates card. Third, teleport to the neutron star and wait for as long as you'd like. Once again, time is 30% slower on the star, and for this example, we'll stay there for 4 days, which will bring us an entire day into the future. Fourth, teleport back to Earth and continue your life as normal. Now, on the likely event that you're about to die, this is when you need to use your Fates card, and this is what you need to say. I want to erase the event of me ever going to that neutron star. So what happens then? Well, seeing as you technically never went to the star, that means you never time traveled a day into the future. And that means you're now a day in the past, allowing you to completely restart the day as if it never happened. And that, my friends, is how you can pull off time travel in D&D. Cue an epic explosion in the background, please. Now, the whole explanation might be a bit crude because I myself am not a science expert, but even with the limits of my 2 brain cells, hopefully this can let you all mentally injure your dungeon masters in some new and exciting ways. We've done immortality builds before, invincibility, others have done the luckiest character, the fastest character, but I think a time traveling character has to be one of the coolest. Thanks for sticking around, and a reminder that this video was sponsored by the Deck of Many's new Hecna Kickstarter. There's creepy clowns, new loot, and a fast system for making encounters for the carnival-themed world of Revelia. With their titular ringleader Hecna managing the festivities, your players will never want to leave, be it by choice or otherwise. You can check out the Kickstarter using the link down below, and with that said, I'll see you all in the next video.